It's 2:30 a.m. on a Monday morning and it's time to get up. The first thing I do is make some cups of tea because I cannot start the day without a cup of tea, and I pack up my bag of food for the week in our makeshift kitchen that is currently in the garage. This will be the kitchen that has been extended. It used to finish there. It's an exciting week this week as we are having carpets put down upstairs. So this is Enya's room, this is Mitchell's room, and this was a wallpaper from Etsy. And this is Billy's room, and I hand painted this world on the wall myself. It took me a couple of days, but it was definitely worth it. Once I'm ready, I go outside to pack up the car, and I realise that we've had a visit from Jack Frost. So I get my scraper out and I make sure that the windscreen is clear before I leave. It's around a 45-minute drive to work, and this week I am the first one in the yard, which means it's my job to open the gates. When you're small and you don't have a lot of weight behind you, sometimes you have to work out ways to overcome it. And it's lucky for me I have a good high kick. My circus days were definitely not wasted. By the looks of things, I'm technically not the first person in the yard, as it looks like a couple of drivers came down last night and slept in the cab, but I am the first one awake. I get all my bags into the truck and I pack all my food away. And once I'm ready to start work, I put my card in, and I confirm that I have been on rest over the weekend. The truck does beep at me to start with to tell me that my air is slightly low, and that is because it's not been used all weekend. As I'm going around to do my daily checks, you will see that my truck is quite dirty. And that's because the wash was broken over the weekend. But I'm pleased to say, apart from the dirt, everything else is looking good. Right, that is my daily checks book complete. Today I am heading over to Essex. I am preloaded with a load of 3mm racking quartzite, whatever that is. Just have a little check on Google Maps. It's telling me to go all the way up to the M4, but that's just silly. So what I'll do is come off at Taunton and go down the A303 all the way into London, go clockwise on the M25, and then take the A12. It's near Chelmsford, so I'm probably going to have to take a break before I get there. Right, heated seat on. Right. Let's go. I'm actually surprised that nobody else is in yet. I get out of the yard and I head down the M5 towards Taunton, and I come off at junction 25 for the A358. And the best thing about getting up and starting your day early is that nobody else is on the roads, and this will give me a great head start for the week. After about half an hour, I make it onto the A303, and I stay on the A303 for about 85 miles. Slowly it does start to get lighter, but it's also quite foggy, and I couldn't even see Stonehenge as I went past. I go from the A303 onto the M3, and it starts off really well until I start getting closer to London. It's now rush hour, and I get stuck in stop-start traffic all the way up to the M25. And guess what? The M25 is no better. I'm starting to get quite close to my 4.5 hours, and I either pull into the last services on the M25 or push on and hope that I will get into a lay-by on the A12, which could be a bit of a risk. I decide to pull into South Mimms services, and this is definitely not one of my favourite services. The lorry park is quite a distance away from the services, and it doesn't have the safest route to walk across. Also, this lorry park is riddled with potholes, and I don't think you should feel the need to put your full air up when you go into a services to try and avoid damage to the truck. Right, that's me parked up for a break. I'm 52 minutes away from the place where I'm tipping, and I have 33 minutes left, so I've stopped in here for a break. I'm going to have some breakfast. I've got some porridge and I'm going to put some banana in it, and I'm going to stick it in the microwave. I try to be as healthy as I can on the road, as I find I get more out of my day when I eat better. However, the week always starts off like this, and by Friday I've got a cheese and bacon turnover for breakfast. So I'm just going to have my porridge, and while it was cooking I had a little look at the map just to check that I know which way I'm going, and I'm not very far away. I've never been there before, so I'm not sure on their procedures or anything. I've just got to find out when I get there. Right, that's my break done. We've got to go the last, well, it's looking like about an hour. there's looking like a lot of traffic, so better get on with it. So I head out of the lorry park, across its terrain like the surface of the moon, and I would like to say out onto some smooth roads, but we are in the UK. I rejoin the M25 up until junction 28, where I come off for the A12. And at this point, I'm really glad that I stopped in the services for a break, as all the laybys are shut on the A12 for roadworks. I finally get to the entrance of the place where I'm tipping, and it's quite a long way down this lane. Eventually, I get there, I spot the weighbridge, and I go to weigh myself in and get some directions of what I need to do. But guess what? I wasn't in the right place, so I need to park up and go and speak to somebody else. Apparently, the people that I'm delivering to are in a little yard just before the weighbridge that I've just been on. Well, I eventually found the person I needed to speak to, and he thought I was only bringing 20 tonnes, so he's gone to make a phone call, but I know where I'm going into now to tip, so I'm just going to make my way over there and hope for the best. So this place has a weighbridge, but I don't actually have to weigh in or out. I just need to go over the weighbridge to get into the yard.
And what have you got for us?
I got the quart, the 3 ml quarts. It's apparently going in that bay there.
We want it in that there where the...
Yeah, I'm going to turn around here
right,
and then
pull all the room you can, right, I'll get that young lad to stop doing what he's doing there. So you can pull it there.
Yeah, no, that should be fine. That should be fine there. So at this point, I think the first chap that I spoke to is still on the phone trying to sort out this load, but I'm just going to get into position to be able to tip, and then if I can tip, I can, and if I can't, then I can't. But as I'm turning around, I get stopped in my tracks. So I explain what I've been told to do, and he watches me back into the gateway. And then I pull forwards, ready to back into the bay, when hopefully I'm given the go-ahead. Now I'm just sitting here while they discuss with the people they bought it off why I've got 28 tonnes and not 20 tonnes. But I wasn't told anything when I went to load. With bulk work, you just presume you're taking a full load. That's what you aim to take as a full load. That's the point of bulk. Unless you're told otherwise, and I haven't been told otherwise. So I've been here half an hour now, and they are still trying to work out what to do with this load. The company want me to try and tip off just 20 tonne, which is quite a difficult thing to do. I can't guarantee it will only be 20 tonne that comes out, especially with the type of material it is. They don't have a loader that would be able to chuck it back on my trailer. Plus what I tip off might get contaminated on the floor, and I'm not allowed to carry anything contaminated because we're task registered, we do food stuff, so I think that's a no-go. So I either tip the lot off or I take it back to where I got it from. And that's what they're in there discussing now. Finally, a decision has been made and I've been given the go-ahead to tip into the bay. This is a little bit of an awkward reverse with the barriers in front of the bay, but with a little bit of wriggling around, I reckon I can get it in there. It can be a little bit frustrating sometimes when you're being watched back by somebody who doesn't drive an Arctic, as they are only concerned with where the back of the truck is going. But as a driver, you are pre-planning and taking into consideration where the front end of the truck needs to go to get the back end into the right place. Once I am back into position, I can go and open the tailboard. Once I am happy with the positioning of the truck and the load in the back, I can finally tip this load off. The chap has put a bay out that he thought would fit 20 tonnes, but obviously I have 28. But I'm going to give it a good go to fit as much of it in the bay as I can. I have got my onboard weigher on so I can see how much is being tipped out, and the chap is watching me to let me know when I need to move forwards. Once I'm away from the pile, I tip the body up as high as it will go, hoping that every last bit will come out. Then, as I start to put the body back down, I move away from the pile. Once it's down, I can go and see the damage in the back. And although this is clean, first time quarried aggregate, it still is a little bit mucky. So once I've swept out, I will also empty a bottle of water at the top of the trailer and then squeegee it all out. Unfortunately, my handle has broken my squeegee, so I am bending down to do it. But it's well worth it for a clean floor. And that is me done. I put everything away, get back in the cab, take all my orange gear off, and then I can get out of here. All I need to do is pull forwards as far as I can, back around the corner into a suitable position where I'll be able to snake round onto the weighbridge. But once again, not to weigh out, just that the only access to the site is to go over the weighbridge. I'm just really glad that I was able to tip, because I didn't fancy taking the whole load back to the place where I got it from, and it would have also meant that my next load would have had to have been cancelled. Once I'm out, I go to look for a spot to park up for a minute so I can ring Keith and get my paperwork in order. Well, all I can say is I'm glad that's over. We got there eventually. It's not the first time that something similar has happened. It's just one of those things. Sometimes mistakes are made with orders and not passing information on, and it's generally the driver that has to deal with it. But it always helps when there's somebody decent that you're dealing with, and the chap in there was absolutely spot on. It wasn't his fault, it wasn't my fault, and we just had a chat about it, and actually we come to the conclusion that that was the most sensible option, what I did, before they came to the conclusion. So yeah, it's always a lot easier when you've got somebody good to deal with.
Sure, it's on today for you.
Yeah, all right then, no worries.
Lovely.
Okay,
Gemma.
all right.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye. I've just spoke to Keith and I'm heading up to Flixborough empty from here. There's nothing at all going up at the moment. So I should have quite a nice run up. I've had a look at the map. I know where I'm going now, so I can head straight up to Flixborough. I head out of the site the way I came in, as that is the only access to the site. Then I take the A131 north until I get to the A120, and this will take me across to the M11. I head north on the M11 up to the A14 for a short stint before picking up the A1M north. This journey is about 174 miles and will take me over 3.5 hours to get there. As I've done quite a bit of driving already today loaded, it's time for a pit stop for some fuel. So I get my fuel card and take it into the cashier. Quite often we have to take our fuel cards in before we fill up. Then I head back out onto the A1M north, but not for long, as my second 4.5 hours is coming to a close. I've just pulled into a lay-by on the A1. I was hoping to make it to Doncaster Services for my next break, but I'm not going to make it. That's my break done, and now I've just got to try to get out of this lay-by onto the A1. And once I catch a gap in the traffic, I'm out. There are two ways I could have gone up to Flixborough. Before I pulled out of the lay-by, I checked on Google Maps and picked the route with the least traffic and shortest time, which today was to follow the A1M up to the M18 and then onto the M180, followed by the M181, which gave me a nice quiet run up to Flixborough. Right, here I just need to fill out my paperwork because my details have now come through, and go up and see somebody. Hopefully they can load me straight away. I can go straight under tunnel 3, which is good. I'm just going to put me down a little bit, take my sheet off as well. Under the loading bay is a weighbridge, so the first thing I do is pull onto the weighbridge and wait for him to shout to tell me when to move. Got to listen. At this point, he's asked me to move backwards so that he can load me from the front first. And then he'll keep shouting at me to move forwards as and when I need to. I do this a few more times until he reaches the back to load, and by this point I've pulled forwards again to be fully on the weighbridge. Go and get my paperwork. And look at that weight, absolutely perfect. And just to show you, it's these yellow chutes that he's loaded me out of. Ticket and my sample, so I can take that back down with me tomorrow. This load is going back down south, and now I need to find somewhere to park up for the night because I am nearly out of driving time. Put my sheet on as well. this song. Silence. Anyway, that's enough of the cat's choir, and it's time to concentrate on looking for somewhere to park up for the night. And I managed to find a nice little spot on this industrial estate. Oh dear. Right, on break for a few hours. I'm going to stay here and park tonight as I'm not going to get anywhere within my time. I'd have liked to have got on a little bit. I finished just before 5 o'clock, so I can start really early tomorrow. I would have liked to have had just enough time to get to the stockyard and gone and seen Sean Taylor, because Sean Taylor is always in the stockyard truck stop. Right, time for tea. And today, I have roast dinner from yesterday. I made a big roast dinner yesterday for the family, and then I did one up for Ryan for today, and then I've got 2 for the week as well. Yum yum. Reckon that's going to need quite a bit in the microwave. Yum yum. Probably done without making a roast last night, because it is quite a lot of hard work to make a roast, but now I'm quite glad that I did. Lovely. My tea was absolutely beautiful. We got our port from Lidl's and it was lush. Definitely be getting it from there again. I'm all settled down now. My alarm is set for 4 o'clock, so I'm gonna get an early night. It's now 8:30, so I need to settle down, try and get some sleep. I felt tired all day today. I think hopefully I will sleep well. Thanks for watching.